Masechta Bava basra, Daf Kuf Chav Ches Amar Aleph. We're starting from 5 lines from the bottom. The last wide line, Meisvei. Meisvei, correct. You might Akasha on Rabbi Yochanan from the following Baraisa, because Rabbi Yochanan had said that if a person says that this person is my slave, and then he says he's my son, he's believed, because a person is believed to say that my son is so special. He's so special. He serves me like I have it. We learn paket. If there was a person that was serving,
so he's more like a ben.
Because a ben doesn't tie the shoes. Only a evet does. Certain things that a evet doesn't do. A ben doesn't do. Let me see if he brings it down. But here it says v'loy kosman ilay. But again, it's malbush mechas machs meitzi v'loy kosman ilay. So he doesn't, because hanay eles hanal, he asked ma'avidis evet l'rabbi. So he said he was serving him as a ben. And then he came and he said, he's my son. And then he said he's my servant. He's not believed to say it's his servant. The opposite of what Rabbi Yochanan said.
You don't believe it's his son either.
No. So, but what Rabbi Yochanan said, what we learned yesterday, if he said it's my Evan, then he says it's then he says my son is good. Here he says the opposite. That's fine. That's good. Let's say he was serving him as Evet, and he said it's my Evet. And then he says it's my son. Yeah. He's not believed. So, yes, there's mamash astira. Yes, they would learn that if he said he's my Evet, and then he said he's my son. So it is good, because he says it's normal for a person to say that my son is so special. He serves me like Abbott. Rav Yitzchak answered. Hasam din the Baraisa talking about the Karilei of the Meitzah Meya. He detailed what kind of an Abbott it is. It's such an Abbott that he's worth $100. It's like I have the $100 the whole time. No, he's worth $100 in any place. Well, I'll take him. I'll be able to sell him for $100, no matter where. So since you detailed him, the Eved in such a way, it can't be that it was his son. You want to say he serves me like Eved? You don't. This is my Eved who's worth $100 wherever you take him. And that's my son. That's possible.
It's too cheap.
That's too cheap, or it's not. It's a disgrace. It's not a. You're not trying to show that my son loves me. You're showing him this guy.
He says B'ni first. He says B'ni, and then he said Avdi.
No, first he says Avdi. I'm sorry. He said Avdi who the Chazviyama B'ni. So Rabbi Yochanan said before he's believed to say it's his son, because he could say he's so dear to him, he treats him like Aved. And here it says he's not believed in this Baraisa. So he answers the way he said it. He said the Aved. He gave with all the details that this Aved is worth $100 the whole time. In fact, one of mine made some, and therefore you can't say afterwards he said B'ni, believe him that it's his son.
Say it to a certain way. He said he's an Aved.
Yeah.
It depends how you talk.
It depends. Yeah. Like I told you, wie man singt es, I feel, es kann sein, that it's amol kann sein, wie man singt es. I told you from Shalom Aleichem, einer die gaben that chicken. They took him to court. So the judge tells the interpreter, ask him if he stole the chicken. So the guy asked, "Hast du gegangen the chicken?" So he said, "Ich habe gegangen the chicken." So the interpreter he says he's saying it that he didn't. But the interpreter says, "Yes, he stole the chicken." So he asked him why he stole the chicken. Was hast du gegangen the chicken? The chicken? I've kaporas that chicken. He says he did it for the ritual, and it goes back and forth. And at the end, he tells him he's going to have to sit, he says. So he says, he's going to sit in jail. He says, Ich hab Zeit zu sitzen. So he tells the judge, he says he has time to sit. So the judge says, they must say, I'm 10 years. So he says, tell the judge, as a chabim in the head. So before the interpreter could say something to the judge spoke back in Yiddish, and he tells him, "Ich habe euch beide in the head." Anyway,
so he didn't have to interpret it.
He didn't even interpret that. Anyway, wie man singt this, but over here, how he specified it. Over here, he said, Avdi Meitzemar. So he's already specifying Kenazak. In fact, you want to mind Meitzemar? What does it mean, Meitzemar? So you want Meitzavda means Meitzavda that the Meitzah, the gvul of this Eved, wherever he goes, Meizazuzi, meaning he's worth 100 zuz. So you want to Shalchlei, Rabbi Yisrael, Rabbi Chama. Now we're going to talk about a whole bunch of different halachas that will paskin like Rabbi Abba. And here we start with the first one. One who says to his friend, Avdi Ganafta, this slave, my Eved, this, no, du hast gegammelt my Eved. He says, I didn't steal it. He says, yeah, really? What is this Eved do? Oh yeah, what's tut by there? What is he's painting or what? Yeah, he came in on his own. Sagt him, no, Atana Satlim Matana. You gave it to me as a Matana.
He forgot about it.
And you forgot?
He was Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's. Yeah. So he says over here, listen, L'cheira, he doesn't have to swear, the nitva.
Why?
Because he's a muhsik.
Now he's a Muslim.
and he had him for 3 years of a chazaka. I can't go to Zogin. You're going to tell me goyreis, that's saying they move around, you can't make a chazaka. But we say, but 3 years chazaka even helps by tzayim.
But I say evidence is like a karka, so it doesn't
Oh,
work.
that's one thing. But here he says goyreis. Even if it's movable items, after 3 years, if you have it, it's a chazaka. Or it's a baby that's in the bed, a baby Eved that's in the bed, it cannot move. So it's a chazaka right away. Or he brings, that's more or less the cases. So he says, and this guy, so really he didn't have to swear. He could have kept quiet and says, I got to ask my Tana goodbye, have a nice day. What did he say? The Nitva, he was now, he wanted to dare the Teveya. He says, Ritzayincha, you want, he shall swear, V'tel, and take back your Eved. And Bechlal, when it comes to he tells the Teveya to swear, and then you'll take back the Eved. Yeah, but Bechlal, who has to swear? Who gets to swear?
The guy
Nitzvah. Only the one that wants to become Potter, or he swears, and he doesn't have to pay him. Here, he's telling the Teveya, you swear.
His Eved, he wants to swear.
So Bechlal, there's not supposed to be any shvur. Number two, who's supposed to be right? He's a Muslim. So there's really no shvur involved.
Right.
So he brought up shvur. And Michal, who should really have to swear? The Nitva. And now he's giving the Teveya. So he gave him, he says he can't, he swore, he cannot retract from it. He can't say, Mishat. The one, the Mulchse, right, the one who swore, he told the Teveya, you could swear and take it. And if he swears, he has to give him back to heaven.
Right.
And we say he can't. Now he wants to say no. I was kibbutz
It's
mit
a
dir.
joke.
It was a joke. Well, I don't even know your shvur. And Michlal, the shvur doesn't belong to you. It belongs to me. I let you. It's a joke. My kamashmalan. In fact, what does he come to teach us? Tanida, this we already learned. Amalei, that if the Baldin says to the here, the Teveya says to the Nitva, it's a little different. The Teveya says to the Nitva, you know what? My claims, never alai Abba. I trust my father to be the judge. Or he says, never alai Avicha. I trust your father to be a judge. Ice is Mikurovim.
If I give it to you.
Right, I trust either one to be a judge. Oi, Namanim, alai Shleisha Reyabak. I trust a bezdin of 3 shepherds of who wissen nicht kindin. They don't know from the whatever to whatever. They don't know nothing. So he says they can be. Steht dafke Reyabak, weil Reyat saying seine Gadol. They let the sheep go elsewhere, as they state in the Yashba. So yeah, so they don't. Then Reyabak Elech, they could Elech, but they could judge, but they don't know really halachas. Rabbeya says he could back out of it. The Teveya, even if they gave up psak, he says no. You can back out of it.
What does he say they come back out? I said I allow my father to be a place.
He says because there's no. He says the psak. Here you look in 8. What?
He talk about the
Either his father, my father, or the 3.
All these things.
Is nothing. Even if they gave up psak din, Rabbeya holds since the Baldin. Lo yischayev ayadei kinyan. He wasn't mischayev himself to pay through a kinyan. The Nitva doesn't have to pay anything. The Nitva can say, listen, I wasn't mischayev myself. Where was their kinyan? His chayvus, he began the dvarim b'yalma. Beinim
He's
mechayavim.
not mentioning what the
I'm
case
reading
is
just the
here.
Rashbam.
It's not a case. What's the case? It doesn't mention a case. It just says, I accept my father to be the judge.
The judge that you owe me the money. Okay?
But he said, but you don't have to
Or
pay
I
them.
owe you the money.
Oh, I owe you the money. Either one.
Let him judge the case.
So over here you see.
You could back it out.
So now so
There's
after the
no
psak
reason
din.
to look here.
No, you're taking out money. He doesn't give exact case over here. Let's see if he has a case.
Well, he says it.
If he brings
It
down,
doesn't say what the case is. He just said,
He brings down-
whatever the case is, I accept my father or your father or these
Or
three guys.
the bookers or the...
the Baldin, the one that owes the money, he's ready to be mechayim himself to pay the money. If the father accuses him that he owes the money, he doesn't. After the psak din, they say you're chayiv. He doesn't have to give the money. Why doesn't he? Could say, listen, there was the bottom b'alma. There was no chayvis with a kinyan.
But they had a case. No? Didn't they
A
go
case,
ahead
that's a
and-
case. The father, that's not a din. There was no chayvis with a kinyan that he's allowing this to happen. It's a karev,
He is post-Malaydis.
huh?
Post-Malaydis.
You mean Alzadayin, it's a karev. Or the Shleishrei Baka Vaisnim from Garnish, the Slishkim Dayanim. So Bacham and Yachalasa, Reshacham saying that even Heskim Al Peh, he was Mechayv himself. He was, even though it was only with Dvarim Alma, he said they could be the judges. It's just Dvarim Alma, and even so he can be Mechayv him. Okay, so to here, the Chacham said he could be Mechayv and he can't back out. So here you see, even when it's something that is not the usual, like there's such is not a real baldin. I mean, it's not a real judge. And if he said he wants him as a judge, we listen according to the Chachamim. Here also,
If you make him for a judge, you should
make him for a judge. So here also, he says where he said he should swear, even though he's not mechuyev to swear.
is not,
So it was. What are you telling me? What's Chiddush we already know here? If somebody's masking something lifnim, let's call it lifnim mishur sadin, we follow it. Zok Yibara Hakamash one night. This is what he's coming to teach us. The be'et lecha machlekes. The machlekes between Abmeya and Chachamim is in a place where the Nitva said etin lecha, that he was mischayiv himself to pay if the dayanim will be mechayiv. He said them. So it's in a place where the Teveya took upon himself. The Teveya took upon himself. Teveya took upon himself these dayanim psulim, that if these dayanim will be mezakeh the nitva, right? The Teveya took it upon himself.
right.
That if the judge will say he's pater, doesn't have to pay, the nitva could say, the Teveya could say machalach, because it's something that's so it's to be meichel is easier. But here we're talking in our case we're talking about the nitva is the muhsik, right? And he's telling that guy to swear, and now that guy swears. Now he has to give him something. It's not being machal. Machal is zitzba. You can be machal the chayv, but here that's the teveya is taking is masking for these dayanim. Now these dayanim are passing against him. All he has to do is be machal. But over here he has to give. Our case was with Rabbi Abba. That you need a kinyan. Maybe in order for the nitva, if the tevei will swear and the nitva will have to give him back the evet, so for the tevei to get the evet, there has to be a kinyan. So maybe not. So he's come to tell us no. That even in that case, the chachamim will hold that if he told him that he told him should be a bezna, or like by Rabbi Abba, they would argue in that same case that if the nitva said to the tevei, you swear, and I will give you the evet, even in such a case, we have to stick to the shua, and he gives it. Zog Yimara v'halacha, and the halacha is kedibri chachamim. The halacha is talking like the chachamim. That what? That even where the nitva says to the Teveya, you swear, and I will give it to you. So I would have thought there has to be a kinyan to be makna. It's by machal, you don't need no kinyanim. If the Teveya was the one that said that this guy should be the dayan, or people are not shayach. All he has, and they tell him you lost, is Michael. There's no kinyan over here. But here, by the nitva, when he loses, meaning if the Teveya swears, he has to give him. So maybe there has to be a kinyan. So we say he was masking. That's alone enough of a kinyan. The heskim was at masking given. Yeah. Therefore, you have to be careful when you say mashata nibecha. It doesn't work. You can't say I made a joke. Be careful with the jokes. When it comes to money, no jokes. The halacha k'divrei chachamim, and the halacha is like the chachamim. So you might have a second did. Shalach Rebbe Rabbi Yosef Bar Chama. Halacha. The halacha is goyvin that the malva of the mace could come and collect from the Yisomim min havodim, from the havodim Knaniim that the Yisomim inherited. If a malva, somebody lent the Yisomim's father money, the malva can come and collect from the havodim Knaniim because they're considered like karka according to Rabbi Abba. That's what we think at the beginning. Because it's mukish. There's a hekish.
So the avodim are already by the end right? The avodim already.
So it was already meshubet from before.
It was already meshubet from before because it's considered as karka.
From before already.
Right. It was meshubet from before. It says we learn it out from a hekish. Okay, we'll go weiter. Sagt die Gemara, aber Rabbi Nachman ain't given. We are not going even though it says vis nachaltam oisam ladashas hachuza by the avodim by the Knanim, by the avodim Knanim, the Torah was compared karka to property. So there it says they only compared it only the benegeya to those dinim avodim to karka, but Rabbi Nachman says they cannot collect from the avodim, because the only part that avodim is compared to karka are only those dinim that the Torah detail cases of avodim that is similar to karka. The din of the Araisa he brings out. Only to din karka which is written in the Torah. Lil mashal, you a shvur einish bayim al karkois. So the same thing, you're not going to swear einish bayim al avodim because they have a din like karkois. And so forth. But this, that you want to be goyva from the karka that the Yisomim inherited, and not from metaltalin, that's not learned out from a pasuk, that they don't get, that the malva cannot collect from the metaltalin, they only collect from the karkoyis. That's learned out from a svara. So that's only with the Rabbana. Because
you can't collect them now.
right. Hamalva son of Bikal Kakois Haleva Lipiroin Achav. Shaking Kakois and in Ayodim. They don't have it. Mishum Kachal Hashim Rakalem, Layam Talton. Mipchinazu, Avodim Daimlim Talton. He says, what's the whole svara that there was a shibu that the Malva could collect even after from the Avodim Yisayim? I'm sorry, from the Karka that the Yisayim inherited. Why? Because when they lend their money, they put an eye on the karka. Why do they put the eye on the karka? Because they know it's not. This karka is not going anywhere. It's always going to be there. But by avodim, it's not something you put an eye on. It can get lost. It can be. You can run away. Yeah. You could die. So many other things can happen. There's so many scenarios.
You can't compare it.
You can't compare it. So it's based on the svara that the malva collects the karka even if the malva dies. From the Yisayim, because if the leiva dies, from the leiva is Yisayim, because the Malva had placed his eye on the karka mechatchila at the loan, but not on the avodim. Okay, another case. Shalach le Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Chama. Rabbi Yosef sent to Rabbi Chama halacha shlishi b'sheni kosher. That in Krevim, what's called a rishen, two brothers cannot testify on each other. They're two brothers. They're called a Rishain. A son of the Rishain and a son of the brother, Sheni. A grandson, Shlishi. Okay, so let's take Reuven's grandson, which is now Shlishi, could testify for Shimon's son, which is a Sheni. So Shlishi, Reuven's grandson is 3. It's called Shlishi. Could testify for Shimon's, for Shimon's grandson. So that's what Rabbi Abba Paskin. Rabbi Amma Akbarishan. Rabbi says not only could Reuven's grandson testify for Shimon's son, but Reuven's grandson could testify even for Shimon, for his great uncle. He's allowed. Okay, that's what Rabbi says. Ma bar Rashi Asher be'abdi Abba. Ma bar Rashi says, you know what? The grandson could testify for his grandfather. Says the Gemara, the less hilchak Ma bar Rashi. The halacha is not like Ma bar Rashi. And he brings down, I'll bring down the Rashbam's reason. He says you can go 1,000 days down. It's all from Yerech Aviv. It's a direct, it's like one person. So no matter how far you're going down, but if it's from the same line, it's one.
The son can't testify about to the father, or a father about the son.
Sure not. Sure not. Here we're saying not even more. We're saying even a great grandson. Allah is not like Baba Rabashi. Cannot testify for his great grandfather. Okay.
Yeah, coming from the father.
From the father's side. Correct. Sholach le Rabbi Yosef. Here comes a fourth thing. Rabbi Abba said to Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Chama, that there was this person, this blind person who's blind now, but before he knew about the testimony of the Karka, he was able to see. Before he became blind. And he got blind, also he cannot say Eidos. Because let him say what happened before. What could he say? So Shmuel Amar Kasha. Shmuel says he could say Eidos. Because one could describe how he saw it by giving simanim. So he says east west was the 5 inches again away from that tree. He gives all of the simanim. So then he could say, like he says, that's what Shmuel says. Avo glima, when it comes to beged, well, you're gonna all begotten. There's so many begotten the same. Loy, he cannot. Rav Sheshes was blind. We learned them in Gemara Berachos. Afilu glima. How? How could he testify in glima? Because here you're more tviyasayim, because there's no simanim in begodim, so you have to have like a tviyasayim means something that's new, but a chacham, when he looks at it, he has a tviyasayim. But here he's blind, he doesn't see, there's no tviyasayim here. Yeah, so Rav Sheshes says no, even by tviyasayim, afilu glima, actually mechabim midas archei. You could say this suit was tailored for this person. And I can tell you, he was 26 by the waist and went down here. Over here, he had a big chest, 55, whatever. He knew how to tell him the exact the description. Yeah, so maybe he gets, maybe that, according to Sheshes, he could. When it comes to a piece of silver or gold, they all have the same mold. What is he going to say now? Now there's nothing tailored. They're all the same.
How heavy to go.
Very good. Good. So he says, "Alaska, so Papa, no, I feel Alaska." So he can tell the weight of it. Okay, basically, in fact, Akasha. This person was able to say Eidos before he became his son-in-law. Then he became his son-in-law. It says Yomar Pikeach, he was normal. And he was able to hear in this charish, and then he became a deaf mute. Piteach means that his eyes were open, could see in his tama, and then he became blind. Shafui means he had a clear mind when he was able to testify, and when it came to testify, Puzzle, he became a shigger, so he's possible to say Eidos. How can he say Eidos if he doesn't already his mind is confused? No. So you can't eat him, shake him, at the time that you can catch him, but it's not Eidos, he says. What's if he knew Eidos before this guy became his son-in-law? Benasa Hasane, he became a son-in-law. And Umeisa Bitay, and now he's his son-in-law because the daughter died,
So fast.
and he has no children
And his
also.
wife died.
His wife died, so he's no more son-in-law.
So he's no son.
No children. He's not a son. He's nothing.
So he doesn't get nothing.
So 1 minute. So in such a case, the this is good.
So you can testify.
He can testify. Pikeach when his Kaddish Chazim in his Pakach, a person who was normal at the time when he said saw the Eidos. In the middle is a Bislam Meshugi Yevadin. Got Zufel Mashke. No, I'm sorry, Mamish Meshugi Yevadin. Alzheimer's, but then it went away. Chazim in his Pakach. Then he became normal again. Or Piteach. He was able to see. And his time he became blind. The Chazim in his Pakach. Then he was able to see again.
He went official.
Yeah, sure. Official put on the right glasses. All of a sudden, it's a miracle. Shafui. If the guy was normal, in the Shtata he went nuts. The Chazal in the Shtata, and then he became normal again. Kosher. Then it's kosher. Zara Klau. Kol Shetchilas Seif Bepaslas Pasul. If the beginning, either the beginning, Oy Seifai, the guy was not somewhere was bad, then Pasul. You can't use him. If at the beginning,
Even though it became normal in the end?
no, we're talking about if either the beginning it was normal at the end was not normal. At the beginning was normal, not normal at the end, it's not good.
Same thing.
Right. Kosher. If the beginning was good and the end was good, just the middle was bad, then it's kosher. But Bepel Mamish, we have a steer. Because we just said that if the beginning was good but the end was no good, it's not good. And here Shmuel said it was good. Rav Sheishes said it was good. They only said by Glima or by Naska is not going to be good because that's totally in Tviyas Ayin. But by Simonim, if he saw Eidos before when he was able to see, and then he became blind by Asada, and he could give Simonim, we said it's kosher Eidos. Here it says it's possible Eidos. So to Yufta, because of the cloud, he has to be able to see at the beginning and at the time when he's saying Eidos. To Yufta, the Kula, Tzak, Shaila, and all of them, except for Rabbi Yabba, to Yufta, and Sakut Tekasha. Shalach Rabbi Yabba, Rabbi Yezber, Rabbi Chama. That's what Tekel means. Tishbi, you tell it's kosher. Oh, he doesn't say Tekel. I hear you. Yep. Stam is a McKenna, he's giving that to it somehow. Shalach Rabbi Yabba, Rabbi Yosef, here comes the fifth halach, Bar Chama. Rabbi Yabba said to Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Chama, Ayma al tinek bein abanim. One who says on a child, between children, he says a specific thing. He doesn't say what it is. Neman is believed.
What does he say?
Oh, so the Gemara is going to ask, what does he say? Rabbi Yochanan Amar, Einay Neman. Rabbi Yochanan says he's not believed. Thinking, what does he say? This is what he's saying. Yiddish kol nechasai. Neman. You remember we said officially you can't give the Yerusha to one against all the other ones? But Abaya said that Rabbi Abba Paskin that he could say it, and he's believed. Ki Rabbi Yochanan Breka, because he holds like Rabbi Yochanan Breka. Rabbi Yochanan Nama Einay Nama, but Rabbi Yochanan says he's not believed. Not Rabbi Yochanan Breka. That's Rabbi Yochanan himself holds Kirabbanan, that a person cannot say that one will be Yashin and the others won't. This doesn't make sense that that's the case. If you're talking about that this one should Yashin versus all the other brothers, why are you using the Lashon? High Neman one that Rabbi Yosef, I'm sorry, that Rabbi Yosef Abchama said, or Rabbi Abba said, that he is believed, and Rabbi Yochanan said he's not believed. What are you talking about? Neman. That's not what we're talking about. Yorash, that he Yashin, or Eina Yorash. That's Yirash, V'lo Yirash Mebayilei, because he said that's the case. They're arguing if the father can make one Yashin over all the other brothers, or not. So should have used the Lashon Yerusha.
Nobody's disputing him at the...
Right, it doesn't make sense. The Lashon Neman. Nobody's saying the father is not believed what he said. He said it, but we want to know if Yerusha is a Yerusha, if he gives it to one of them or not. Rather, no, that wasn't the case. The case was he says he's a Bechair, and there's a Chazakah Faket. Neman, the father is going to be believed against the Chazakah. Rabbi Yehuda, like Rabbi Yehuda. The father won't be believed against the chazaka. Kirabanan, he holds like Rabbanan, because the yakir, when we said yakir, that the father has the right to tell others that this is the bechair. That's only when he comes into a city where nobody knew him from before and there was no chazakas, and he says a new family. Oh, let me introduce you. This is my bechair. Okay, we believe you. But what's if you're in a city everybody knows and everybody says the shmekel is the bechair and and the one that you're choosing is not. So and the father says no, this guy's the bechair. That's how the chacham say not. Only Yaakov is only in the case where he came from out of town and nobody knew. That's what the Rabbanan hold. But the Rabbi Abba said no, the bechair will be, the father will be believed against the chazaka. Sholach lei Rabbi Abba. Here's a sixth halacha. He says, my wife should take a chelik in the Yerusha just like the children. Not als Yerusha, als matana. And they tell us, she takes like one of the children.
Usually, when the husband dies, everything belongs to the wife, right? If the wife is...
If he writes that to her, he doesn't have to. She's not a Yiddish. He can give it as a matana, everything.
But if he doesn't write it, it usually belongs to the wife.
No, I don't think so. No, he has to write it. It's not automatic. No, he has to write a tzava. Let's see, that tzava says if matana. Even nicht garnished. Geht gleich zu Yerusha.
The kids are before
the kids are the Yerushim. Sagt die Amarava, b'nechasim shalach. He has to have nechasim now. When he's saying he wants his wife to get a chelik like the one of the children, it has to be from the nechasim that he can give as away as a matana. Okay, but if it's not there, then he cannot do that. And let's say the woman had more children after, so her chelik gets smaller. Let's say if there was only 5 children and Nebuch children die, the chelik gets bigger. I hope she doesn't kill them, but it's fine. For a few dollars, you'll do anything. Okay. Sholach leid. Her chelik gets smaller. Because the Yoshim come.
You said she gets a chelik, right?
Oh, she gets a chelik like the rest of the children are equal chelik. Yeah. So if she had more children, it's going to be smaller because she can only get equal to everybody.
But he's giving all the children also as a matana?
No, he says you'll get a chelik as a matana equal to the Yerusha that the children are getting. Okay. The seventh time.
Why can't you say that you get a Yerusha like everybody else?
Because he's not a Yiddish. It's not Mishkan Yiddish. That's why you have to give it ahead of time. Make sure you go back to Yitzavah and leave something for the wife. Shalach. It has to be in the chasm that he has now. If not, it's nothing. It's a davish like he has to give it as a matana. Shalach leir, even though Rav Meir holds he can be makna, but you have to say specifically, and he didn't. That's what the Rashbam is me'ir. Shalach leir, Rabbi Abba, Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Chama. Hametzi shta'achiv, one who takes out a shta'achiv against his friend. The Mala says, hey, you didn't pay me a penny. I paid you half. Then Adam come afterwards, after he says, I paid you half, and I owe you half. Adam come to testify on his behalf. You paid everything. So it's too late. That's it. Hareza Nishba, he's got to swear.
Who swears?
He's a Meida b'miktsas. The Levi swears he was Meida, that he owes half. Adam came later and said he paid up all. No, it's too late. Do you a Meida? The mixas. You have to swear on half.
Why does he have to swear?
Because a Meida b'miktsas is high b'shvur that he doesn't owe anymore.
But the Ada say that he owes, that he doesn't
owe anything. Doesn't matter. He swears. And he pays the other half. He pays half. I'm sorry. He pays the half that it was Meida. So you want to give him matzah, but where does he get them? Where does the Malva get it from? Only from the fields that he has right available. But from those that were sold, let's say, or given away as a matana, the Malva cannot collect. There was a star. Says he cannot collect. The Malva cannot collect. Why? Because the lekuchas could say, "Anan edim samchinan." When we bought the karka, we understood from these edim that he paid up, and that's why we bought it. We didn't want it. We bought it without a lien. So, and this that he said he owes half, he's doing a trick. He wants that the Malva should be able to collect from their karka, and behind the scenes they'll split in half. Machen Geld, if in Zeit. I'll make with the Malva business, yeah, and that's why they're avoiding that. Even according to Rabbi Akiva says, if Nashtar had said that Reuven owes Shimon Sloyim. Sloyim is 2. And now Reuven comes to Shimon and says, you owe me 5 Sloyim. And Shimon says, no, I only owe you 3. So will he have? Is that a made of a mixas? Rabbi Akiva says, as Nishkin made of a mixas. Mitzad Ishtai, there was only 2. So when he said 3, he was a Mesh Vaveda. By a Mesh Vaveda, you can't make him swear because nobody, when somebody will find something in the street, they'll say, sure, I'm not going to return it. I'll return with $500. He'll say it was $1,500. And he'll say, I'm a made of a mixas. So that nobody will pick it up. No, everybody will leave it in the street. But that's I'm sure you take it in your pocket. Anyway, Meisha Aveda is a Meisha Aveda. It's like when do we say that he's considered as a Meisha Aveda? When he doesn't know that there's no Edom there. So even by Shtar, when he says it's 3, he's a Meisha Aveda if there's no Edom involved. The Edom sign that this is the Shtar. There's no, the Edom don't remember, or there are no Edom to find. But over here, but in our case, we're talking about there were Edom, but he was afraid. He didn't know if the Edom will side with him. What did the Edom say? The Edom said, they sided at the end with him. But B'Permam, she wasn't sure if they're going to side with him. So that's why he was made there. So that's called a made of a mixas. If he had to...
the Edom said that he paid in full.
Yeah. But he didn't know what the Edom are going to say. So this factor that he didn't know what the Edom are going to say put a fear into him, so he's considered as a made of a mixas. Huh?
He could wait and hear what the Edom have to say.
He didn't wait. He accused him. He came to Bezdin. He brought him to Bezdin. He said, "Yeah, he was afraid. Later on, the Edom are coming. He knows the Edom were coming. So he said, I've made them a mixas, and I'll get away because I'll swear." And it was true. He knew he paid up the whole thing, but he didn't want to. So therefore, he was made on behalf. He doesn't want to swear.
Why does he say Paraiti? Why doesn't he say Paraiti?
No, if he says...
He knows the truth that he actually paid. Why is he made it?
So why have to swear?
He was afraid that the Edom will come.
What are they going to say?
And so if he...
They didn't say that he did pay off.
So what is it? If the Edom will testify against him,
what would they say against him?
they would say he owes the money. That's what it says. He tells Shalevi he yore Shemi Yeida Edom Letevis Amalva. Shimkach Heida Meresh HaMatzrach. Yeah, you can't prove us well false shahidus.
No, but
So he says.
why do you think that there's false shahidus?
He says this is not called Hashav Saveda. When the guy is worried that Edom will come. Maskal Ma Bar Vashi is the Kashadar. Afilu Rab Shimon ben Elazar, even according to Rab Shimon ben Elazar, the Chaylik who argues on Rabbi Akiva made a mixes Hataynavi, even according to Rab Shimon ben Elazar who argues by a case of a shtar where it was only 2 slime and he said he owes 3 versus 5. Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar says it's not a Meisha Aveda, it's a made of a mixes, but he says Hanim Mili Hechad the Lake Edom to come a He says. He's a made of a big said. Shimon Elazar says even in such a case, he would have to swear. But when did he say Hanim Ilehech the Lake Edom to come a only if he doesn't have Edom backing up, helping him. But where he has Edom that he paid up the whole thing, and he's being made to have he's for sure made because he has Edom that say he paid up the whole thing, and he's being made that he owes. So he's a Meshach, he doesn't have to swear.